The new E, the new attitude. Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob says, although he welcomes cooperation with the opposition, his administration will not be a unity government. According to Bernama, the newly appointed Premier told a media conference today the opposition MPs will not be in the new cabinet lineup. He said they can instead play their role by channeling their ideas through the Special Committee on COVID-19 and the National Recovery Council to help heal the nation. The new cabinet lineup will be announced later this week, after the list is presented to Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah first for His Majesty's consent. On whether the Deputy Prime Minister could be an elected representative from Sabah or Sarawak, the Bera MP said he is willing to consider it. Ismail Sabri was sworn in as the country's 9th Prime Minister on Saturday. He succeeds Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, who resigned from the post after losing majority support of the MPs. MAYBANK says its decision to discontinue bond rating services by Fitch Ratings was undertaken as part of the lender's overall effort to streamline debt rating assessments by rating agencies. In a statement to the edgemarkets.com today, a MAYBANK spokesperson said MAYBANK bonds continued to be rated by international and domestic rating agencies, namely Moody's Investors Service, S&P Global Ratings and RAM Ratings Services. Yesterday, Fitch said it plans to withdraw its ratings of MAYBANK and international ratings of MAYBANK Indonesia bonds on or about September 23, 2021 for commercial reasons. Fitch said it reserves the right in its sole discretion to withdraw or maintain any rating at any time for any reason it deems sufficient. It says it believes that investors benefit from increased rating coverage by Fitch and is providing approximately 30 days notice to the market of the withdrawal of the ratings of MAYBANK and MAYBANK Indonesia. It added that ratings are subject to analytical review and may change up to the time Fitch withdraws the ratings. At the close, MAYBANK's share price settled up 0.62% at RM8.17 for a market value of 95.5 billion ringgit. Serba Dinamik, along with its MD and CEO Datuk Dr. Muhammad Abdul Karim Abdullah, has begun legal action against the owner and operator of KLSE Screener. According to State Newswire Bernama, they have obtained an ad interim injunction over the alleged publication of false and defamatory comments posted by a user account impersonating the group's CEO. In a statement today, Muhammad Karim said the user account, which goes by the name of Datuk Muhammad Karim, had published false comments on the website, which led to undesirable speculation on Serba Dinamik's stock. Meanwhile, Serba Dinamik chairman Datuk Muhammad Ilyas said they secured the injunction against Lim Kai Yang, the owner and operator of KLSE Screener. He said the injunction will serve to restrain the website from publishing, republishing or allowing any publication of false comments by any account impersonating Muhammad Karim or Serba Dinamik. The company will continue to monitor several other platforms, and should these platforms publish false and defamatory articles against the company, necessary legal action will be taken against them. Serba Dinamik closed 2.5% higher at 41.5 cents today for a market capitalization of about 1.5 billion ringgit. Petronas Gas or PETGAS says second quarter FY21 net profit fell 19%, due mainly to higher operating costs incurred by its gas processing, gas transportation and regasification segments from depreciation, maintenance and internal gas consumption. Net profit was also affected by unfavourable foreign exchange movement and a lower share of profit from the group's joint venture companies, namely Kimanis Power and Pengerang Gas Solutions. Quarterly earnings came in at 439.07 million ringgit. Meanwhile, revenue was marginally lower by 1% at 1.38 billion ringgit due to lower contribution from its utilities segment, which was in line with lower product prices despite higher sales volume. PETGAS declared an interim dividend of 16 cents per share. As for the 6 months of FY21, net profit rose 4% to 955.47 million ringgit, while revenue declined 3% to 2.72 billion ringgit. Despite the pandemic, PETGAS expects the group's performance to remain resilient as its business models ensure steady revenue streams, particularly for its gas processing, gas transportation and regasification segments. PETGAS shares closed 0.37% lower at 16 ringgit, valuing the company at about 31.7 billion ringgit. Malaysia Airports or MAHB booked a wider quarterly net loss as the airport's operator registered, among others, higher asset depreciation and amortization. This at a time when the global aviation sector is contending with the impact of COVID-19 pandemic-led movement restrictions, which resulted in a contraction in the number of passengers in MAHB's network of airports. Second quarter FY21 net loss stood at 226.09 million ringgit from 91.07 million ringgit a year earlier, despite a 19% jump in top line to 323.42 million ringgit, helped mainly by a significant rise in revenue from its Turkey operations. For the first half of FY21, MAHB's cumulative net loss ballooned to 447.39 million ringgit from 111.46 million ringgit a year earlier, while revenue fell by about 45% to 660.32 million ringgit. The group did not declare any dividend for the second quarter. Looking ahead, it expects 2021 to continue to be dominated by COVID-19, with some travel restrictions in place. Its Group CEO, Datuk Muhammad Shukri Muhammad Saleh, says a significant contributor to the group's recovery is the Istanbul Sabiha Gökçen International Airport, where traffic is more robust versus the Malaysia operations. At the close, MAHB's share price was 4.8% higher at 6 ringgit 10 cents, valuing the group at about 10.1 billion ringgit. This program was brought to you by Mercedes-Benz.